Hey guys, it's Goosebumps Completionist, and today I'm bringing you another book review from the Goosebumps Haunted Library Collection. And this book is going to be Bad Dog. So, Bad Dog is one of the three miniature books given out in 1996 during this weird promotion through Hershey's, Frito Lay, and Pepsi that each individually gave out a specific book. Bad Dog was given out through Pepsi, and you had to mail in UPCs to Pepsi to get it. There was also another weird way to get this story. If you bought a pair of Goosebumps boxers, you were able to get it on a close tag. This is the only one of the three that actually got that treatment. Then, of course, apparently, if you were part of the fan club, you got these books given out to you as well. But Bad Dog was the Pepsi one. Don't Make Me Laugh was the Frito Lay one. And then the Hershey one was the Halloween game. And then if you mailed in a certain amount of things, you're able to get the souvenir book to put all these little mini books inside. So, Bad Dog, off the bat, I think this one is probably my favorite out of the three. The Halloween game was very mixed, mixed bag. Had a bigger open world vibe, but it just missed the mark. And then Don't Make Me Laugh is one of the worst things I think to ever come out of Goosebumps. And then this, it's a dog-based story in case you couldn't tell, and it's probably one of my favorite dog-based stories in the whole franchise of Goosebumps that I've read. You know, there's not that many, and they're mostly not that good. And don't believe Frankenstein's dog. That's not even a dog-based story, y'all. That's a straight-up lie. But this was actually pretty decent on a short story basis. For a little book that's only 19 pages, that's the size of my pointer finger, and that maybe would cover a page front and back and like a normal book, this was pretty good. I really dug this. So let's get into the plot or review without giving too much away. So, the story starts off with two kids named Sean and Kathy. And Kathy's the narrator, and they're coming home from school, and they're talking together about how much they love school and how they feel like odd ducks. And off the bat, I get the sense that this story has the most characterizing of the three stories. This one kind of goes into some monologue bits, which I kind of appreciated. I wasn't expecting that. And they're cutting through this graveyard coming home from school, and they get approached by this yellow dog with one eye. And this dog looks decrepit and very creepy, and he keeps snarling and growling at them. And Sean is really afraid of dogs. And Kathy knows this and has to step in, and she's saying, "Bad dog, back away, bad dog." And the dog's just standing there. And then she sees these two kids. I think their names are Judy and Martin. Judy and Martin are just watching them. And they say, "Hey, is this your dog?" And they both bolt after saying no. And then the dog just runs away too. So, a little bit shaken up, they decide to head home and try to get away out of this dog's sight. Hopefully the dog doesn't follow them. Well, later on that day, Kathy is in her, house doing homework, whatnot, and she hears barking outside. She looks outside, sees her brother trying to come inside with the bike, and he comes in, and the dog's by the garage door barking at him. And she shoos him away again and says, "Bad dog, bad dog." And the dog kind of backs up and tries to dart in the bushes. And when he darts in the bushes, a bright light appears out of nowhere. And these two kids from earlier just dart out from the bushes. And they're like, "Wait a minute, this is really weird. Something doesn't seem to be adding up." And they kind of don't think about it much else. And they're like, well, we got stuff to work on. So then the story starts off the next day, the next morning. And they're heading to school this time. And they're cutting through the cemetery again. And, of course, the dog is there. And the dog is being mean and growling. And something happens to where Kathy gets very angry. Angry at the fact that this dog won't leave. They can't get rid of this dog. So she grabs the dog by the collar and decides to start dragging him through the woods. And Sean's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I don't care if we're going to be late to school today. We're taking this dog away from us. We need to get him out of here." So she starts dragging this dog through the woods all the way over to another nearby town and drops them off in a street, and they bolt back in the woods and head to school. Their school. So they're about an hour late to school, but they stay after because they have to work on science projects, and plus they love learning and stuff. And after school's over, they go to leave the door and try to walk down the stairs, and the dog is waiting for them down at the bottom of the stairs. And this is where it gets really creepy. So they see the dog, and the dog has followed them, and then the two kids from earlier pop up. I think they're Judy and Martin. And Judy and Martin's are like, dogs always know. And Kathy's like, what do you mean dogs always know? Oh, dogs always know, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, no, the dogs always know who are dead people. And they're like, we aren't dead, blah, blah, blah. You know, the dog must be dead. And there's this big old twist involving Judy, Martin, and Kathy and Sean dealing with this dog. And they all get a little chuckle out of it, and they head back to they head back to Kathy and Sean's house, and they bring out their cat to get rid of this dog, and it's hilarious. And that's how the story ends, essentially. I don't want to spoil the exact twist, but it was pretty good. And that's essentially Bad Dog. So, off the bat with the positives about Bad Dog, I like that the characters, you know, for a 19-page little mini book, I like that the story actually tried to offer some personality and some monologue with Kathy and Sean, some characteristics to chew on. Not too in-depth, not the greatest. If this was maybe a Tales type of short story where you can breathe a little more, it probably could be fleshed out a bit better. But this had a pretty intriguing idea. I like Kathy and Sean. I like them as characters. I kind of want to see them in a more developed kind of story of this. The two other kids were really creepy and mysterious. That was really eerie that they always seemed to be where the dog was at. The dog, I think Michael Goosebumps fan said this in his review of this. I read this and then I watched his review to see what he thought, because I think he's the only other person on YouTube with a review of this. He thought the dog seemed like Cujo by Stephen King. And I definitely see that comparison. It's really good. It's very creepy. One of my favorite dog stories in Goosebumps, I have to say. It's really pretty effectful for what this is. Tension was really good. The twist was fun. And the ending was funny, kind of lighthearted, but in a good way. You know, sometimes funny endings can be really bad, but this one was pretty good. You know, like I said, for what this is, for a short story. It felt complete. It felt like the story was doing what it was supposed to be doing. It had a little bit of originality there. Might have taken some elements from a specific Goosebumps book, but if I tell you what the book is, you already know what the twist is. So I can't tell you. But let's just say it does borrow some twist elements from another Goosebumps book, possibly even two Goosebumps books, now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, it's there. The originality is kind of hit or miss, but I was actually pretty creeped out. This was pretty well done, y'all. I'm not lying. This was really good. So yeah, from a 0 to 5 star basis, with those little negatives I have with originality and stuff, and that it does kind of take away from it. The twist, you do kind of see this coming, but there's a double twist to it, which I thought was really nice and refreshing to it, so I can't be too harsh on it. It wasn't really spectacular, it wasn't flawless or anything, but it was pretty good. So I'd give this about a 3.5 out of 5. This was pretty solid. Out of the 3 of this collection, I recommend this one the most, hands down. So yeah, that's my thoughts about Bad Dog. Let me know down in the comment section down below. If you've read this before, do you love this or do you hate this? I'm dying to know, and I'll see you next time.